You ready? It's recording. Oh, goodness. It's still preparing to go live. Why is it taking so long?
Mm-hmm.
Are you excited?
Yeah. It feels good to not have to think of questions.
That you're not the one. Yeah. Well, we're going to have a conversation because, Mama, I got some stuff to still work out. So,
Okay.
but it's cool. Like, I kind of have the flow in my head.
Okay.
Why is it still preparing to go live?
Mm-hmm.
The people are texting you. Can they see it?
How about I try to get on?
Yeah, see.
It's on your page or on where?
On my page, on Too Much Woman for This World.
Oh, hold on.
On the, one of my pages.
Yeah. Hold on. Boy, I love
You look cute though.
Thank you.
While we doing this, they gonna see me do my little hair. My hair looks crazy.
The video has not started. You'll be able to watch when the event host goes live.
What is the thing?
Oh my God, you're like, you nervous.
I am.
This is crazy. It's not live yet.
Why isn't it live? It still up here says preparing to go live.
And take one. You're good. I don't know how you would. Mm-hmm. You can do it from Zoom?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let me try it again. I stopped it live on Facebook. Okay, it's preparing. Oh, you know what I think I did? I think I went back to Zoom before it was finished.
Okay, I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I think happened. I got it now. Too much woman.
Too much woman, girl.
Podcast.
Too much.
Episode number 1. Go live. Oh, that's what happened. Kharyshi.
Now it's live. I see it.
You see it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's play the song.
Well, it says it's live. I guess it's live.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's live. It says it's live. Let me play my intro song. This is my intro, Sam. I'm so goofy.
So cute.
I am a firecracker, always running, jumping, stomping in the mud. I carry lightning rods in the palm of my hands and earthquakes between my toes. I am too much for most people, but never enough for me. I have the time to be quiet. I'm the crackle of flames that pops around and gets into everyone's business. I want to shout in bus stations and sing down sleeping streets. I pick red shirts over pink sweaters and prefer wrestling and crossing my legs. Don't know how to sit still. There is movement in my blood. I want to write songs about freedom and dance on rooftops across the world. I want to send my voice through FedEx and give you pictures of my naked body via email. I want to scream, carry a slingshot in my back pocket so that I can shoot rocks into the eyes of anyone who trespasses on my feelings. I want to heal wounded souls and make love to beautiful boys on baseball diamonds. I am a hot mess. Child of Shango, spirit of Oya, I was born with the urge to move, beat out sorrow with my legs and bring down happiness from the sky with my bare hands. I have no desire to be a straight girl walking in a straight line, always doing what she's told. I want to be bold, pushing out whirlwinds with the rhythm of my tongue. I am that girl's best friend, the one with crooked ponytails and scratches on her knees, showing her that self-love doesn't come with a price tag. I have no desire to be quiet. My brain moves too fast to sit still. I'm yelling out his stories and her dreams because no one else has agreed to stand in line. I don't know how to have polite conversation or speak soft. My walk is a jolty rage, asking to be recognized. I want to greet strangers with a roar and give birth to controversy. Check this out. I don't want to be with a man unless he is enough to let me be this big girl with too much but the subtleties. I'm a wildish nature woman that plays with the moon, talks to elephants, and isn't afraid to ask questions. I am a firecracker, always running, jumping, stomping in the mud. I carry lightning rods in the palm of my hands and earthquakes between my toes. I am too much for most people, but never enough for me. I haven't the time to be quiet.
Well, all right.
Yay. Okay, let's get into this good stuff. Hey, y'all, my name is Kharyshi Wiginton. And I am too much woman for this world. And because I am fat and fabulous and fine and fly and all the great things, and really leaning into different sides of self-acceptance, self-esteem, and, you know, showing other views of the plus size body positive movement, I decided to create a podcast to uplift and celebrate other fly ass plus size women that are doing things in the world. And it'll range from music to various forms of art, business, cultural work, organizing, whatever. Like, big women are doing things every day, all day. And we are not all running around here scared of our shadows, not liking ourselves, not feeling comfortable in our skin. It's actually the exact opposite. And so I just wanted to create a platform to uplift that. And our first guest is our first week, our first episode. So excited. Is Miss Samm. Got Samm. Tell the people a little bit about yourself, Mama.
What about me? I do a lot of different things, No. I am from the Bay Area, East Oakland to be exact. I am a singer, songwriter, producer, creator. I am a vocal coach. I am a coach in general, life coach. I do everything in a nutshell.
I heard that.
9 times out of 10, you ask me if I could do it, I'm gonna say yes.
Ooh, I love it. So riddle me this: what drew you to music?
I think how old? Maybe, I don't know. I was a baby in the church choir. Mm-hmm. Obviously, I started singing in church. From my memory and from what people tell me, I always was singing in the car. I always made people sit down, and I would always perform for them. Mm-hmm. Mariah Carey was the go-to. I just was singing all the time. Then in elementary, middle school, high school, I was in choir. I remained in choir. And then once I was finishing high school, that's when I started tapping into my solo artistry. Mm-hmm. So writing my own music and recording my own stuff. That was in high school. So, and it just continued from there.
All right. Riddle me this: what has been your body journey?
My body journey. So truth be told, I started off as a bone. I was very, very, very small.
Really?
Yes.
Just told out my story.
I was at, let me see. So I believe I started picking up weight when I lost my dad in the 3rd grade. Mm-hmm. Food became a comfort for me, mm-hmm. But I didn't know, right? I'm just mm-hmm. whatever. So that's when my chubbiness started, like 3rd, 4th grade. And I kind of just carried it with me through elementary, middle, high school, but I didn't feel or carry it as, oh, that's the big girl, or oh, you know, like mm-hmm. I didn't see myself as that way. Mm-hmm. None of my friends made me feel that way. My family didn't. I was always thought I was a beautiful girl. So people that had issues with weight, I didn't understand them. So, you know, like I'm like, oh, all right, well. And that's what's been the thing for me as an adult. Now, as an adult with weight, the only reason for me that it became like a thing is because with weight comes other health issues and other like strains. Like I started having issues with my knee or like my back. But other than that, that was like it. It wasn't, oh, I want to be skinny or I want to be this girl I see on TV. No. I've always been like 110% comfortable in my skin.
Wow. So that, what a blessing to have a family that doesn't put their junk on you, because mm-hmm. that was not my experience. Like for me, it was the exact one. I've always been big. Mm-hmm. I tell people all the time, the smallest I've ever been was when I was born, which was 7 pounds. And after that, like, I just remember my mind being like a 6X to like a 6, a 12, 14, like, and then just moving up like a girl's 12, 14, and then just moving up into women's. But my family was actually the worst. Like my mother was a big girl and she was the big one in her family, and her sisters, her brother, and her mom were all sticks. And so there was a bunch of junk that she had around weight. And then she transferred that to me. You know, parents do this thing where they like are trying to protect you, but in them trying to protect you, they actually do more harm than good. So most of what I got was at school. Like I got teased all the time, all the time. Family teased me. They monitored my food. Like I was put on diets all the time. So
I mean, but you know what? I remember as a kid, I remember going to like a nutrition group, like I think it was through Kaiser. And it was like other heavy set kids in there. Cause I think my mom she knew that I was eating cause I wasn't really emotional from losing my dad. I lost a lot of loved ones as a kid. Like after my dad, it was just like boom, 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 boom. Everybody just started dying. So I think that's kind of gave a flag to my mom, like, okay, well, let's see, maybe it's from that. I don't recall what happened from that or after that little nutrition group, but I don't remember getting teased. I'm sure some jokes could have came, but I just don't remember it. Like I had a good circle. I had a solid circle of friends.
Really?
Family and everything. Like I didn't have like a lot of negative stuff.
Well, you are truly blessed. I'm telling you, I remember, and I was like, why wasn't Oprah on when I was younger? Or like, because there was a time when my mom put me on not Weight Watchers, on Jenny Craig. So I was on Jenny Craig eating them little meals, little pre-made meals. I was probably like 12, 13, something like that. Wow. And my family didn't change their eating. So they put me on this little meal thing, but they would buy we had this place in Southern California called Double or Nothing Pizza. So you always got two pizzas for the price of one. So they would order like double or nothing. So like this night, they probably had like 4 pizzas, and they're like slamming pizza, wings, drinks, whatever, right? But they're like, Kharyshi at 12, 13, be disciplined enough to just eat this little cheese Craig box. And And then when you don't lose weight, when you cheat, when you're not successful or whatever, then they're like, oh, it's your fault. And I said the thing about Oprah because I remember an episode of Oprah, but I was older at that point, maybe like later in high school, and they were saying that when you put a child on a diet, the whole family has to go on a diet. Like if you're doing food change, everybody has to do food change. It can't be
right.
It can't be how my family did, right? And I think a lot of families do this, not being aware, but like me isolate, like my whole family should have shifted if that was how we were gonna and maybe some of those, maybe I wouldn't have like done balloon dieting and things like that.
Right.
Maybe this would have been more successful.
Right.
Um,
Well, I'm sorry. That sounds horrible. How was a kid eating Jenny Craig?
how was it?
No, I'm saying, how does a child eat Jenny Craig or the meal plans? So yeah.
Girl, my mother was putting me on diets. There was a while like she would get the good housekeeping thing or whatever, and then there would be like a diet, like say like the grapefruit diet or cabbage diet or something. And she would be like, here's a new diet, like let's try this. Like it was always something.
Right.
All you're gonna eat is Jello for the summer. Like it was.
Oh, girl.
So you're blessed. So I think that's important to lift up too, because our stories are very different, and so everybody's body story isn't the same.
Correct.
Riddle me this: what has it been like in the music industry in terms of your size?
So fast forward to me like becoming. Let me take this gun. So unprofessional. I don't care. No, let me stop. Right. Fast forward to me like performing and stuff and like really being out there. You do start to notice stuff like I don't look like her, like obvious, right? But it's like, is that a bad thing? Is it and I do remember hearing comments as I got older, performing certain songs. I remember hearing a comment one time, I don't know who said it, but like, oh, she shouldn't be singing that type of song. She should be doing neo soul or something. And I'm like, why? Like, what is that? That's not my style of music. No diss to neo soul artists, but I'm not a neo soul artist at all.
That's because you're supposed to be cute and fluffy like Jill.
Yeah, I guess so. Because the neo soul artists, they're not required to do much but sit there and sing, and just it's all about the essence
connection,
of the song and connection and the vibe. I get it. And I'm like, no. I think it was around the time I dropped Rider. And Rider is like a provocative song, and it's like this upbeat and it's confident. And I'm like, well, that I wrote it. That's how I felt. So that's what I represent. And I think a lot of people either loved it, they loved me for that, or people just didn't understand and didn't connect to it and was like, I don't get it. So I think the first time Jenny Craig was proposed to me, this was before Rider, but not too far before Rider. My dear sis who passed away, Kawana, she took me to Atlanta, and we went around meeting all kind of different people in the music industry. And she was like, how do you feel about, yourself? And like, what do you want to do? Like anything you want to do, I'm supporting you. And at that time I was like, I feel like I could shed some pounds. I'm not stressing off of it, but I mean, just so I could feel, even better. And I tried Jenny Craig for like a week. It worked. But I mean, if you don't stay on it, you're going to pick up times 1,000 when you get off. So it's like pointless. Exactly. I'm like, yeah, I'm not happy doing that. So I did not trip off of weight at all. I did not care. I didn't care. I did not care. I cared more about the music I was making, how I hit that stage when I performed, and delivering a performance. And this time now, like it's a trend to be big. It's a trend. Like all of these heavy set girls are coming out, and they like, and I'm like, well, where the hell was y'all at back in the day? I don't remember. I don't remember. Besides, like Kelly Price. I know.
So it's interesting you said that. I wanted to be a singer when I was young. And one of my like strongest memories is my stepfather saying, how are you going to be a singer? How are you going to perform? And you're big. And I was like I didn't understand why. Like I was a performer. Like at that point, I've been dancing and performing like since probably like 4, something like that, right? Like there was never a question for me whether I could do it because I was already doing it. Like it was already inside of me, right? But for him, from his perspective, he was like, you can't do this professionally because you're fat. And I was like, well, there you can have big people who are fat. And he was like, name somebody. And I was like, Jennifer Holiday. At that point, I'm 45. So at that point, her song "I Am Love" was like a huge hit. And I was like, Jennifer Holiday. He was like, that's one. And I was like, name. He was like, name somebody else. And I was like, Nell Carter. And he's like, well, her too. But that's it. Nell Carter was she did Broadway, but you know she was on TV too. And but he made me feel like that was not like there was no room for me. And so my story has always been one of resistance. Like I'm gonna play sports in spite of what you say. I'm gonna swim in spite of what you say. I'm gonna do this in spite of what you say because I felt like there was always limits put on my body, especially when it came to performance.
I'm not gonna say I didn't think of it. That is heartbreaking to hear. Look, you're not about to have me emotional on here. That's a little bit much to hear. Because I also work with youth, like youth from Oakland, and I don't know. I just love enforcing. You can do whatever the hell you want to do.
Yeah, definitely.
No matter what. And the weight thing, these kids are dealing with it. I didn't deal with it like that. I didn't look at it as a thing until people started comparing to others and I'm like,
no,
I don't know.
Well, and it's interesting, like a key variable I think in our stories is that you grew up in Oakland. And at that time, Oakland is chocolate city, and places where Black people are not the minority, it seems like size is valued differently.
Right.
You know what I mean? And like the Bay has a term like thick. Like in Southern California, you're skinny or you're fat. And so there was no value around a bigger body. And nobody I knew really had a value around a bigger body. But my students in Oakland, like they just don't have the body junk that I had, or I feel like people around me had growing up.
Well, what the good thing I can say about now is there's so many different people to look at now in all industries. Like I said, plus size is a thing now. All of the plus size models that are coming out now, the plus size singers, actresses, like it's a thing now.
Remember what was that on America's Next Top Model when Takara was like they were giving her so much junk about being, and to me Takara wasn't even really that big.
She wasn't. She was thick. She was nice. She was solid. She was the first stallion.
Yeah, she was a brick house.
Brick house. Right. For real.
So how has your body played a role in like love for you? Has it?
I feel like I'm not about to answer any of your questions how you want me to answer them because I never had an issue getting boyfriends. I never had an issue.
But you're also cute as fuck. So like, let's put that out there.
Thank you, mommy. Thank you, daddy. Rest in peace. I'm not hard to look at. I'm not hard on the eyes to look at, but at the same time, I know a lot of men prefer certain sizes, but I didn't, and I think I only had a couple frogs in my life. Like that was like, whatever. But the dudes that I talked to or messed with, they were like, they genuinely were connected to me. as a person.
Mm-hmm.
Like we was cool. And back then it was like, oh, we gonna be friends first. We not gonna just start screwing or you know, doing this. We partners. And then it grows into something. I don't know if people still do that nowadays, but that's what happened back in my day.
I feel like that's some Aries shit that
it's all an Aries thing. I don't know. I don't know if Aries are just overly confident in general.
Yeah, confidence is one of our traits.
Or I don't know what it is, because my whole family, well, not my whole family, but like a lot of the women in my family are all Aries. My mother, my grandmother, my sister, my niece. We all we're all like in the same week. Boom, 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 boom. You know? So
wow.
I am a younger version of my mama, like for real. And they've never had issues with dating, and I don't know. And I don't want to sound like I just didn't. And I think it's because I did not pay attention to it. It could very well be it was a thing. Like, because I was heavier set, some people may have not wanted to be around me or whatever, but I didn't pay attention to it. I just didn't.
No, but it's interesting because I think that that's part of what I want to showcase is that, because even in my story, and I have had a bunch of junk put on me, but my whole response, because I'm an Aries, was in resistance. So it was like the poem that the show opened up with, I wrote that in like 2003, 4, something like that, right? Like I've always lived in resistance to what people wanted to put on me, and I wasn't going to allow my body to be the thing. Because people said it was going to limit me, I wasn't going to allow that to be the case. Like if I love doing something, if I want to do something, I'm going to do it. And I wanted to show like big women have different stories.
But right? You know what? One thing I can say about you, I'll never forget when I met you, ever. And you probably know why. When we started like performing and really being at different places, you was the first person up, smack dab in the middle of the floor, like in front of the stage, on the stage sometimes, like going in, dancing, and just happy and full of life. And I'm sure people was like, what is she doing? And you didn't care. You was in your own world. And I'm like, yes, and yes. It's skinny broads. Sorry if anybody's watching. It's skinny girls that will never have that confidence. They will never. Never. So the girl what's the girl name? Amber Riley. Is it Amber Riley? She was on Glee. Black girl, heavy set.
I know who you're talking about, but I don't know her name.
She just dropped a song called Big Girl Energy. It's all right. It's whatever. Because she can really sing, and I feel like they dumbed her voice down on this track. However, it's just about like, it is a difference. It's a big girls have this energy that a lot of like banging girls, like with the bodies and stuff, they don't have it. And you're like, how or why? Like, where does that come from? I don't know.
Well, it's interesting, and I don't know her story either. But I feel like when I was in high school, I used to do like peer counseling. To me, that was like one of the best ways to what it helped me, because I was going through so many different things in my personal life, especially as it related to like my mom and just a whole bunch of junk. But counseling other students, made me realize that some of my problems weren't that bad. Like, even though they were issues, like when you hear somebody else's story, you be like, dang, like, I know I got this over here, but at least it's not that, right? And so it was like a great way for me to like develop perspective. And I just like I like counseling people. So it fit my personality. But one of the things I noticed is that the quote unquote pretty girls, the quote unquote skinny girls, they had, their self-esteem was far worse than mine, right? And I think that what happens is that and I see it happen when working with young people, I don't know if you see this, but they'll be like, oh, she's so pretty, but that's it. And for me, I wasn't just cute. I was talented. Like I was smart. Like I was athletic. I played sports. Like there were all these other things that were mine that nobody could take away. Where pretty is something that people can give you or take. You know what I mean? Like because beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
Right.
It's almost like they can give that to you, and often they're not encouraging those young ladies to be anything other than pretty, right? And then what happens if people disapprove? Like your self-esteem is largely wrapped up in what people think of you. But
Right.
I think for big girls, this is my assertion at least, is that there's more than just pretty. Like we don't have that same issue because there's some we have to be more than just pretty. That's what that's my assertion.
I feel that because I feel like all in high school was like, okay, she's cute, but I'm like, I sing, I write, right? Like you said, I'm smart. I'm the life of everybody's party.
Exactly.
I am like my own walking part. Like I'm this big energy.
Mm-hmm. Literally, like how could all of this even be in a small body? Why do you guys even want this to be in a small? How do you expect that?
Maybe because it's so much, our bodies need to be a little bigger to hold.
No, that's fact. That is fact.
To hold all of that. No, I'm just playing about it.
Listen, my homegirl, when I was in my late 20s, she was watching me and she said, Kharyshi, oh no, what happened? I got my chart done and I'm an Aries with an Aries moon and a Sagittarius rising, right? So all fire. And she was like, you're a triple fire sign. And she was like, no wonder why you're fat. She was like, you needed something to hold you down. She was like, if you didn't have weight, like, you would be like, that's how my energy shows up, right? And so I think like maybe all of that got to come in a little bigger package.
I mean, I do want to know the psychology behind that because I do notice that, like, I think all of my friends were small, all like smaller. Mm-hmm. And when I think about it, I'm like, dang, it might have been one other like heavier set, but not like me. Mm-hmm. Like, and I still was this force. Mm-hmm. And I know like I know everyone is not just out there. There's extroverts, there's introverts, there's all the stuff, but I don't know. I would really like to know because a lot of heavier set women, I see the confidence and but then I also see the ones that aren't, and I wish I could be like that. I wish I could do that. I'm like, do it. Who cares?
Men and women. Men and women. I've literally had people like gotten off the stage dancing or something and had people come up and cry to me. Men cry to me like, I wish I had what you had. In fact, that's what drove me to write. So the name of the podcast is Too Much Woman for This World, but it came from a poem, my one woman show called Too Much Woman for This World. And it was like, literally, how do I teach people how to have self-esteem? What was my process of developing self-esteem? Because people always wanted the thing that I had. So how do I show them what that process looked like? Right. And I've seen a ton of big women who like shroud. I almost feel like that's what people are like, how dare you? How dare you have strength and like be confident and hold your head up? How dare you walk into the room and own the room? Even when they were talking about you with the song, like it's part of it is how dare you get on stage and have the audacity to be sexy and own it.
Yeah.
Next to Kirk. Like what?
That part.
Yeah.
That part. Like I'm hella sexy. Like not to toot. What are you talking about? Like
what did you miss?
Have you? Okay, we're not gonna go there, but I'm like, we ain't gonna go there. Let me give you some tips. Let me help you out a little bit. But
no, I completely feel that. What is your favorite part of your body?
What is my favorite part of my body? You know what? I like my legs.
Do you? Wow.
Even though my legs aren't as toned as I would like them to be, like I always wore the skirts. I always wore the shorts, and I don't know. I didn't like being covered up. I'm like, I gotta show me some cleavage. I gotta show some legs. Gotta show a little arms. I hate my arms, but I love my legs.
Why? You got them like hanging on.
You got the bat wings. And in my family, the bat wings is a thing. Okay, so
everybody got them.
Everybody got them. Except my little skinny bitty winnie nieces, but it's okay.
Do you ever have like students or like people in your family come up to you? Does your husband come and play with the fatty?
Yes, that irritates my soul, and he knows it. He said it's like a comfort for him. He's like,
I've had students literally like sit there like self-soothing. You know how like you'll see kids playing with their ear or something?
Yeah.
They do the same thing to the fat of my arm.
Well, he'll take my elbow. I'm like, bro, what are you doing? Like, that's hella irritating. And then I do it to him, and he's like, that don't feel good? No, it doesn't. It does not feel good at all. No.
We're having different experiences.
We're having completely different experiences.
They're like, this is actually it's
really weird. So stop.
That is too funny. What how do you feel about your belly?
Okay. My belly, as long as it's not hanging out too much, I'm good. I feel self-conscious when it is just hanging, like, because at that point, so I've been on this health kick for a while. And like I said, not to be like super small or anything, but to be healthy and to be energetic and all the other stuff. And I know like when my stomach starts going, that means I'm not eating right. I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And I'm just, so when it got a certain point, it got a checkpoint, like, okay, we cool. But when it go too much, I'm like, all right, bro, it's time.
Do you wear waist beads?
No. Yes, I just started. Maybe quarantine.
I heard that.
I just started that.
One of the reasons why people wear waist beads is to monitor their stomach, like to keep their to be aware of how if they're growing or not.
Yeah, me and my cousin, she was like, I'm gonna do something. You want to do something? I'm like, no. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe I should. Let's try it. I actually love it because it is. That thing start getting tight. You got a problem.
Reel that sucker in.
Right. Like I like it. You know, I'm like, okay, they're gonna just fall off at one point. Cool. So
that's what's up. I remember the moment. I don't know how comfortable you're going to be sharing this or whatever.
Oh gosh, here we go. I'm gonna plead the fifth.
Okay, you can plead the fifth. But like there's an interesting moment as a big woman, at least for me, having sex.
Oh geez. If my mama is what I am married mother. Auntie, if y'all watching this, I'm married, so I'm good, and I'm grown, so I can talk about this. Go ahead.
we're not gonna get into the things, okay. But there's a moment in terms of like body appreciation when the man just like grabs your stomach. Like, have you ever had that?
No.
Your husband don't grab your stomach?
No. Like, what you mean? Wait. What? Like, just grab your stomach? What?
Yes. Like, there's where men are like, I love that. Like, they're like, your belly is so sexy. And so, like, say we're doing a missionary or something, they'll like grab my stomach and like they like it. You ain't never had nobody grab your stomach?
No. Maybe kiss my sides or like
your love handles.
My little handles or something. But just grab my stomach? No.
No. Like, I don't know how I would feel.
And I probably would be like, you good? What's going on? You know, you on some other stuff though. You like some other stuff. Mm-hmm.
No, so first of all, I was kicking it with my homeboy a couple of months ago. And when I went and picked him up, he was in town for like a couple of days, and I went and picked him up, and we're in a car and we stop at the light and he's just like rubbing on my stomach and my thighs. And he's like, ooh. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, I'm fat as fuck. I need to lose weight. Like, it was like a jarring moment in my mind because I was like, oh, wait, I even was like, I wish that he wasn't coming for like a month or two. Like, let me go get let me go get it together for a second. Let me drop a few pounds or something. And then he could come, but he was here and I was like, whatever, like, let's go. But I was feeling like that about my stomach in particular, but how I was about my stomach was completely opposite of how he was about my stomach.
I get that. But like my husband is not, he's small. He's a small guy, right? But he like, my legs are like, just like, he likes that, you know? And sometimes I'm like, oh my God, stop, really. And it gets to a point where it's not that you're not okay. It's just weird. I don't know. It's weird. It's weird for me. Like, you're not about to sit here and rub on my stomach. I don't have a child in there.
Like, I'm a genie.
So let's not do that. Okay. I don't know.
That is too funny. No, but I bring it up because I think it's a lot of times, I think for me, and maybe because I was always so boy crazy. And also what I realized is my mom, and the way that my stepfather was like, you can't be an artist if you don't lose weight. My mom would be like, you're not going to get a boyfriend unless you lose weight, right?
That. Okay. Are you close with your family now?
Some of them. My stepfather isn't in my life anymore. My mother passed away.
Have you? Okay.
No, but you could talk.
No. I was just gonna say, have you ever had those conversations with them as an adult?
Yeah, but you know, people's stuff is what it is, and people also don't remember the junk that they get. Like, they don't hold it. That's one of my lessons has been like, for instance, in my one woman show, I have this story about my Uncle Jimmy, and everybody hates Jimmy because of this story. But anyways, I retold the story, recounted the interaction to Jimmy that I wrote about. And he's like, girl, you crazy as hell. He's like, you're tripping. That didn't happen. And I'm like, it actually did. Like, it did. And it had a huge imprint. But what I realized is that people don't hold it the same. And we're not free of that, right? Like, I've given people junk. Like, my brother will tell me things that I did or said to him that I don't remember at all, but have been signed.
Yeah.
And I think that that's what it is. So even having those conversations, I don't really need them to correct it. What I need to do is correct it in my head. And that has been the work, right? It's like, how do you dump their junk or shift, like, not let that be the thing that blocks or is holding you back because somebody said that. How do you move through that?
I think healing is just different for everyone. Like, for me, I get that even if someone doesn't remember it or whatever, it's out of sight, out of mind to them. Sometimes you still have to release it out of your mouth and out of your mind and out of your heart and just be like, hey, you did this to me. You said this to me and it messed me up pretty bad. And I need you to know that you did that, but I'm okay now. And even if they're like, you know what, I don't remember doing that, but I'm sorry. Or even if they're like, I didn't do it, at least I know I got it out. I said it to you and I am free of that and I can move on. I am a big believer. You just got to say it, especially now. Just say it. Not you before, but like as of where I'm at right now.
Today, yeah. And I think that that's some airy stuff. Like, I have to speak it. Now, I don't necessarily have to speak it to them, but I wrote a whole show. In my show, I talk about my mom. I talk about my grandma. I talk about my uncle. I talk about my stepfather. Like, those are like the primary entities. And then, you know, some fluffy people on the exterior. But those are the voices that were the strongest for me. So I have to say it, but I don't necessarily need them to. I don't always have to say it to them, right? Like, I think a lot of my show was done after my mother passed away. So
we're creative. We're creatives. Yeah. And that's another reason. Like, a lot of my music is healing for me. Writing songs for other people, or that's getting it out. Your journals. I got 50 million journals in this house. Like, that's getting it out. So if I didn't say it, I got it out one way or another.
What is your favorite talent?
My favorite what?
Talent.
What's my favorite talent?
Of your talents.
I don't know if it's a talent, but I feel like my ability to connect with people, and all types of different people, and my ability to be straightforward with people in communicating, but not hurt someone's feelings, but be very blunt. And I love that about myself. I don't know if that's a talent. I'm gonna say it's a talent because everybody don't do it, and everybody don't know how to do it. So I'm gonna say it's a talent. And like, I feel like where I'm at today is a big representation of where I came from with that talent. Specifically, like, my journey in music was all just me wanting to just blend and work with people and collaborate and connect and get out there and just network, talk, let's go, you know. And it's helped me, like, for now. So more than singing, more than performing, more than writing, my ability to connect with people. I think that's my favorite thing about me.
No, that's dope. What would you say? So the main topic that I wanted to talk about was like, how do you stay real in an industry that's plastic? And that's like personality, that's body, that's all of it. And you talked a little bit about the body stuff, but like, just period, like, how do you not lose yourself?
Okay, because I've lost myself several times.
Really? Tell us about it. What does that look like?
That looks like me disappearing. Like, people, where you been at? If you know me, you know I will not disappear. Like, so if you don't see me for a while, or you don't hear about me, that's not normal. Not saying that I gotta be out 24/7 or I gotta be in your face 24/7, but knowing me and the talent that I talk about that I love, connect. If I'm not doing that no more, there is a problem. And I think when I lose myself, I go into this introvert stage where I go in and I'm just stuck and I'm just sitting here and I'm like, what's wrong with me? Almost like depression, but not as serious as depression. I don't like using the word because I know how serious depression is. But almost
like limbo.
Yeah, like almost like that. And even now I go in and out. This music stuff, this whole social media stuff, this whole everything right now, is very different for us. You know, we're used to, back in the day, getting up, leaving the house, going to network and being in front of people and not relying on a machine or an algorithm or pictures from other, like, it's different. So I go up and down. 1 minute I'm hecka like engaged. I'm like, oh, I'm finna do this, and that. And then like the next week I'm like stuck. And it could be this quarantine stuff that got me going crazy. But I go up and down. I literally week after week. And I think it is this quarantine, shelter in place. But if it wasn't for shelter in place, I wouldn't have done my Fresh Friday stuff. I wouldn't have reached out and reconnected to so many different people. I wouldn't be re-inspired. So if it wasn't for quarantine, I wouldn't be a new me again, you know? How do I stay real? Or how do I stay, I don't care anymore. I don't care, genuinely. I went through so much stuff as a kid in the music industry, teenager, whatever you want to call it, young adult, not having a manager, not management, not having really stable and solid people always in my corner pushing for me. I got taken advantage of a lot. And Tav always used to say, you're naive. You too nice. You too nice. You. And I'm like, I'm not. You got to network with people. But now that I look at it, I'm like, dang, the new me would have punched somebody in their throat right now. Like, so now when I'm talking on Fresh Fridays, I'm like, why do I have to have a filter? Why do I have to care? This is me 24/7. It's me. And if people don't like that, then they're not for me. Why be fake? Why be fake? I hate it. I hate it. I hate it.
I think that that's a challenge. I tell one of my young people, I tell her all the time, I'm like, you have to be careful. Like, of course, people are going to reach out to you to do gigs or to work a job or whatever, because when you go, you're going to like overwork. You're going to bring the life and the energy. And people use that. And I think but that doesn't mean it's serving you, right? So even when you're talking about doing all the networking and stuff, and I think it's difficult when you're the light, when your energy is the light, and how you said you are the life of everybody's party or whatever, right?
You get sucked dry.
And you think, because you're operating from a standpoint of, and Aries are the babies of the zodiac, so I think we could be a little naive around that. Like, I think that I don't have any ill will, or like, I'm not trying to manipulate people or use them. First of all, I wouldn't dare to be unoriginal, right? Like, why would I use your stuff when I could produce my own? Like that, like my Aries arrogance is just that, right?
Right.
It doesn't even occur to me to try to get over on somebody in that way. And I think that it takes a while to realize, oh, you're attracting, because you're attractive, like your energy is attractive. You're attracting all of these people to you, and everybody is not here for your greater good.
So I have a strength. I don't know if you heard of Gallup's 5 strengths. Mm-hmm. I have woo, right?
Woo is my number 1 too.
Exactly, right? The downside of that, people automatically think you're fake. Mm-hmm. Because how could a person genuinely want to connect with people? Mm-hmm. That's not real. Mm-hmm. That's fake. Mm-hmm. How could a person really be that cool? How could a person really? That's not real. And to me, that's sad that that's not real.
But for a lot of people, that's not real.
It's not real. So yeah, a lot of people probably, I even had a person tell me before, you know what? I thought you were kind of, what's the word? What is the word? I can't think of the word.
Stuck up?
Stuck up, because the word's not shallow.
Oh.
Is it shallow? Is it shallow? What shallow mean? Tell me, I'm having a brain fart.
Shallow, like a real surface, like you don't have depth.
Yes. I had a person tell me they thought I was shallow until they got to know me, and they was like, oh, you actually hella cool.
You so silly.
But I think about it now, and somebody was like, oh, I would have slapped that. And I'm like, I appreciate her telling me that. Mm-hmm. Something about her felt that comfortable to tell me, dang, I thought you was lightweight Boosie, but you actually dope.
I wonder if that's an Aries thing too. Like, I know that people always mistake my energy, because my energy is really young. Mm-hmm. So they mistake it for like innocence, or like I've had people think like, oh, I'll say something. I was hanging out with this woman I knew from the dance community. And I had known her for a couple of years, but she didn't know my age. And I was giving her advice about something, and she was kind of blowing me off. And then later on, she found out my age, and she's like, oh, you're that old? And she said, I was like, oh, look at this little girl trying to tell me something. And like really just kind of sunned me, because and I've had people do that to me my whole life, because my energy shows.
I didn't know you was 40. I was like, wait, you're how old? What?
I am.
I don't believe you. Okay. And that's beautiful. And you're going to live a long time. And you're going to have this young look and this young spirit for a very long time, because it's real. And that's who you are. You're not trying to be something. When you try to be something you're not, that kills you. Mm-hmm. Look at your face without makeup on. Look at your whole, like, let's see who looked the youngest and is full of life.
Yeah, that's, I ain't putting on nothing. First of all, and I think that this, it's like going back to some of what we were talking about earlier, even just about body. Like, I think what I realized, like you were saying that you like your legs out. One of my greatest strengths has been that I liked doing things more than I hated the way I looked, right? And so it didn't matter if I was uncomfortable with my body. Like, I'm trying to swim, like I'm trying to dance, like I don't care.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what is happening around me because I want to take in life, right? And my desire to do that is much greater than hiding or stopping because of people. And so I'm like, I just think it, and I was telling somebody the other day, I was like, it's so much easier to just try to please yourself because you're not going to please everybody. People are
Right.
always going to have stuff to say about you. Always. It's just not possible.
And that's the thing. Stand for something, fall for anything, because people are gonna throw stuff at you left and right. Who cares?
And in that, if that's the case, and I can't please everybody, then why not just aim to please myself? Because that's gonna make me happy. Because trying to please everybody else.
Yeah. And one of my wedding day, I remember it's about the dress. Oh, the dress. It wasn't about the dress for me. I'm like, yeah, I want to be cute, of course, but I want it to be real. I want people to come to my wedding and feel like it was real. Like it was, we not just here at another wedding. Oh, how cute. And then we leave. I want everybody to feel like we all family up in here and it's a celebration. I'm not about to wear heels all day and be uncomfortable.
Didn't you have Chucks on?
Yes. And a lot of my friends were like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm not wearing heels. I'm not doing it. So I think certain things are just more important to others. Like when I go out, I mean, obviously I have to care about what I look like because of whatever, but for the most part, it's not like, oh, what's my outfit gonna be? I don't stress off that stuff. I'm just like, what is this event finna look like? What am I finna run into? What do I need to do at this event? I don't know. My priorities is just different.
No, and I think, Aries value depth and real. And I mean, I don't know too many Aries that aren't like that.
I don't either.
Yeah, like
I say Aries are amazing.
And everybody secretly wants to be us.
Everyone secretly wants to be us.
If you were going to give some advice to your younger self, what would you give her? So silly.
I would tell her, you are ahead of your time and everyone else is behind. Stay on the path no matter what. No matter what, you know something that others don't. And they ain't gonna catch up to it until the future. So just keep doing what you're doing and don't second guess yourself. And say what the hell you want to. Oh my gosh. I just wish my voice, I mean, I'm bold, right? But now I'm a different bold than I was back then. So
how old are you now?
Huh?
How old are you now?
36.
36.
And when I was doing music like Tough, I was between the ages of 18 and 22. So don't care. I just don't care. I care how what I say affects people. If it affects them negatively, I don't want to do that. When something comes out of my mouth, I mean it. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Now, do I say it the best way all the time? No. But when it comes out, I mean it. Now, if it hurt your feelings, let's have a conversation about that later. And then let me see if I can clear up what I said. Say the same thing, but say it nicer.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, and how do I make sure that I think this is some of that work is like, how do I make sure that what's coming out of my mouth, what my intention is, lands, like those two things are they meet. So I'm not saying something with one intention, but it's having a different impact. Like, how do I say it in a way that also, so you can actually hear it, mm-hmm. and it's going to do more good than harm. Even if it's like checking you. Like, yeah. I don't, punishment is real. Like, I think people need ass whoopings sometimes.
For sure. I like Jane. I keep calling her Rye. I like her line. She like, I'm a Christian, but I sock somebody dead. Like, that's how
Yeah.
I like how Chaz be like, I'm the gospel Cardi B. Like, don't don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
So I think that people need to be corrected, and whatever the fluffiness is that we act like people can't be checked. Like, no, you need to be checked. And how do I check you from a place of compassion and love?
How do I check you in Jesus' name? In Jesus' name. Yeah.
You're so silly. If you had a student, if you had a student that was a big girl and she wanted to sing, she wanted to be Beyonce. I know you love the Beehive. You're a part of the Beehive, right? Are you the Beehive?
No, I feel like the Beehive is new school.
Oh,
there was no Beehive when Beyonce came out. That's what I am before the Beehive.
Before it was just
whatever that is. So.
But say you had a student who was a big girl, wants to be the next Beyonce. What advice would you give her?
I would be very honest and say that this world is built differently. And Beyonce has the attributes or features and everything that all plays a part into where she is right now. Not saying that you can't be her, but just transparent. And if you're not happy with yourself, let's change it. But if you are happy with yourself, then let's get on these other how do we be strict about you sticking to a schedule and singing every day and practicing every day and writing every day and dancing every day? How do we get you got to be about your stuff. You want to be Beyonce, be about your business.
Yeah, that Virgo, she gonna work.
Perfectionist. They are perfectionist to the T. So.
Mm-hmm. What do you think about Lizzo?
Okay, I love Lizzo. I don't want to see her ass every 5 seconds. I don't want to see it every 5 seconds. But I don't want to see anybody's ass every 5 seconds. I don't want to see Rihanna's butt. I don't want to see Beyonce's butt. I don't want to pick up my phone and scroll and see butt.
My homeboy was like, he said, you know what? I'm sick of seeing your naked body on my timeline. He was like, can we?
And when you took your picture, I'm like, I don't knock it. I just don't want to see anybody naked. The only naked person I want to see is my husband or myself.
You so
But no, let me stop. I don't want to scroll and just be seeing booty all day. No. No. However, I love her. I really hope that it's for real. I don't know Lizzo personally. I've heard of her back in the day, but I didn't really follow her like that. I hope it's not a facade, like to make her. I don't even know what I'm trying to say. I hope
that it's not a gimmick.
Yeah, I hope it's not
like I think Nicki Minaj's personality is like a gimmick, right? Like that's her the character that she's playing.
Right.
And you're saying you hope that Lizzo is not a character.
Right.
I think she's probably actually a character. Like who she authentically is is probably a character. But she did a post for it was like Body Appreciation Day or something like that. And she did this post big up in big girls, and she was like about our jiggliness and our bellies and our thighs and just this whole thing. And I was like, wow, like what would have been the impact on me as a girl if I would have grown up with a Lizzo?
You would have had a Lizzo.
Yo.
That's what I'm saying. I probably would have been out of pocket. Okay. And that could have a reason on why I didn't do more. I feel like I could have did way more than what I was doing. And it could have been what held me back subconsciously. But yeah. Lizzo is a whole different. She's the first, to my knowledge, to be.
Yeah, like
And up there, you know, like at the top of her game. So
especially right now, like she's like her fashion stuff, like it feels like it's kicked into another gear.
Because I remember, like real quick, just back in the day, like look, my brain is slipping. I remember somebody being like, we could do so much with you. We could probably get you on the Oprah show, you know, because I was heavier set, and there wasn't really heavy set women on the stage and confident and just, you know, moving and like, you know. And I remember somebody saying, we need to hop on this. And I'm like, what? So in that sense, I'm like, so you want me to sell my heaviness and not my talent? That was the thing that I was like,
it didn't feel good.
Yeah, like, no, I'm actually just talented. You know, like,
I'm a talented woman who happens to be a big girl.
Yeah.
And that it's crazy that they don't know. Like, that's a marketing question. Like, what do we do with this? Like, yeah, it's a trick. Yeah, it's, I don't know how to like why isn't it just to me, here's the issue. It's that there is not an expansion of thought that makes space for all kinds of people, right? That you have to be in this formula, this one way. Like, I love that I can see on Instagram Megan and Lizzo twerking at the same time in the same space, right? And then it doesn't have to be either or. Like, why can't it, like, why isn't there enough space? Yeah, like, why isn't there enough space? Like, why can't I be big and sexy? Like, why?
But that's women in general. It can only be one or the other. Like, it has to be Nicki or Cardi. It can't be both of them. Exactly. Or it has to be Rihanna or Beyonce. It can't, well, because Beyonce's her. Now let me stop. But you know, everybody is like, it's either or. Yeah. Why can't it be all of them? You see, I'm surrounded by artists in my little studio at home. I'm inspired by every single person on this wall. Why does it have to be one person? Because everybody's different.
And we all bring different things to the table.
Right.
But yeah, and I know that it happens to skinny women too. So that's not to say, like, I know artists who get shelved by their labels because they just don't know what to do with them.
Yeah.
Right. In the same way that, like, if you're not half naked often, then they don't know what to do with you. But it just is, it is interesting. And here, this is the last thing I'll say about this. There's an adage in like whiteness and like white culture. Especially because people think that like white folks don't have culture, but they do. But in the idea of whiteness, there's this adage that you can never be too rich or too thin, right? And so there's a constant pushing of everybody to be thin, which is why when Black folks are in places where they're marginalized and there's fewer of us than everybody else, then the body stuff becomes more of an issue, right? Then there's more, like, that's why that's what's powerful about Oakland and some other chocolate cities being like having a value of thick, because there's more Black folks. So that means that Black body standards are what is being celebrated. But when it's fewer of us, then the white body standards are the ones that are getting highlighted. And when you think about Hollywood and the industry, that is the dominant idea, is that you can't ever be too rich or too thin. Like, you have to be thinner is better. Yeah.
Do you watch Lovecraft? This is heck aside.
Girl, yes.
But don't you think it's interesting how the Black girl wanted to see how it felt to be the white? Oh, wait, are you there?
I've watched. Okay. I'm caught up.
How the Black girl wanted to be the white girl and the white girl wanted to be the white man. Like, does everybody want to be somebody? I don't want to be anybody else but me.
You know what it is? It is about power, right?
Right.
And not feeling, if you listen to both, if you look at both of their storylines, to me, this is my thinking. And I was just watching it last night and thinking about this. Like, if you look at both of their storylines, both of them were disempowered, right? And wanting her being pushed down by her father and wanting to prove to her father and then have power because she wanted to be in the society and women
Right.
couldn't be in it. So she's trying to get what she feels like is power, right? And then
Right.
her not being able to be hired and not feeling confident or like what she does is good enough and all of that. It's all like about power and being able to prove to yourself. And what you're saying is how I show up authentically is my power.
I'm powerful as fuck. Like, nobody has done nothing for me to get me to what? I do it myself. Well, how you doing all that? Well, I just looked up on this and then I started doing that and planned that and did this and now blah, 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 blah. I'm driving myself crazy, but at the same time, I'm doing it. You should not let somebody give you power.
But I think that and that I think that we all have it at birth, but people just don't know. And this world, this society does a lot to like strip us of it, make us feel like we don't have it. We're not good enough.
That is true. That's true.
Yeah. So
as long as you let people silence you, that's gonna happen.
Okay, so this is the storyline in Lovecraft that really highlights that is I'm hip a motherfucking lighter. Right?
I am episode. I am.
And so when the woman is like, this is not a prison, right? The prison is here, like it's in your mind, right?
Yeah.
And I was rewatching the episode last night when when they go to the museum or whatever to get all of that.
Yeah.
And she's talking to her daughter. And I missed this, I think, when I first watched it, when she's laying on the ground talking to her daughter, watching the stars, and she had won the contest or something. And but the woman hit her up and was like, oh, I can't have somebody who looks like you be the face of this. And I think that was her shutdown moment, right?
Yeah.
And that was when she started to play small, right? To everybody else. When really my cousin was like, she's actually like Hermione. Like she's actually probably the fastest and the smartest on the show, right? But she's played small so much that they're not even utilizing her strengths.
Right.
Yet. And so I think that that's it. The question is, how do we recover our power?
I think you have to hit, not bottom, but you gotta hit a bad place. Unfortunately,
you gotta get sick of yourself.
You gotta start letting the devil get in your head. You gotta start letting you have to be in a place for God to help you. I don't know if you are religious or you're spiritual. You gotta be in a place to need him. So that means you gotta start listening to what people say.
It's surrender, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not Christian, but for me, what it is like, how do I get to a place energetically when I say yes and I surrender? So now I'm listening. I'm allowing spirit to work in me and through me. I'm allowing my ancestors to like show up in my life. Like, how do I stop pushing and just surrender? And then I think that's when the lessons come. That's when the message comes. That's when the shift happens.
You gotta have them ugly conversations with yourself too. I know a lot of don't do that.
Yeah. So for me, one of my things has been lately, I just turned 45 this year, and I was getting to this place of like, oh, I can't believe I'm going to be 45. What does that even mean? Like, I don't even know how I got here. I literally was like just 20. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me, right? And I had so much time to become this big, great person that I was supposed to be. And now I'm 45, and what have I done, right? And I was going down that rabbit hole, and it occurred to me, because I'm not dying until I'm 96 or 97. I'm clear. People think I'm crazy, but whatever. But it occurred to me that I actually had more time after 45 in terms of my life than I had leading up to 45. And so, and life wasn't over. So if I'm supposed to be great, like today's the day to start being great. Today's the day to step into that. Today's the day to start whatever those things are that we're putting off because of other people or other, reasons that really don't uphold, like that aren't valid. Like today's the day to do it.
I agree. I 100% agree. Let's do it.
I appreciate you, and I love quarantine on Samm. I love seeing you. One of my things has always been like, because I was fucking with Ryder, right? Like, I was like, you better get that shit up there. Fucking on Irk. You better get it together. Come on. Come with it. And I was so excited for the trajectory of your career. And I felt like there was a way that you faded to the back for survival, right? Because I felt like people aren't kind. And Jennifer John said something to me not too long ago. She said, I couldn't figure out how to be this amazing singer that I was going to be and be famous and all of that and not lose myself, right? And it takes time, especially when you're creative, when you're sensitive. It takes time to figure out how to hold on to all of this that I am and be in that world, because people will rip you apart all the time. So I felt like that happened to you, and I've always admired you.
But you've always been that person that would send me a message every now and then and be like, what are you doing? Why not? What's happening? But why? I used to be like, it's too much. It's just too much. And because I am this genuine woo, like loving person, that's not what the industry is. And the people in it, that's not what it is. And I felt myself being crushed all the time, crying all the time. Like, what? And I didn't like what it was. It didn't feel good anymore. And I don't know if it's because I didn't have, like I said, I didn't have that team to sit there around me and build me back up. I'm like, okay, I'll do a feature here and there. Oh, you want me to come? Okay, I'll come for a minute. And it just, Well, that was a great experience for me.
Well, what my hope is, because 36 is younger than 45, and so if I can like step into greatness today, then like at 36 you definitely can. Right. And what I love about quarantine, Samm, is that you are pushing to the forefront instead of being in the back. And because these devices and the way that the world is shifting, we don't need the industry in the same way, right? Like, so you can actually, so look, this is a perfect moment. This is the moment where the impact of the industry is not the same stronghold, and the body positivity movement is like flourishing, right? So it is the perfect moment for you to just be like, hey, now, hey. So I can't
see what you're doing. Stop it.
What?
I said, I see what you're doing. Stop.
I'm just letting you know, I'm looking forward to the music. I'm looking forward to like concerts and stages. I'm gonna get my knees together. I'm working on that so that I can be dancing in the front row again when you're performing. All right.
Okay. I'm ready. All right.
Well, thank you, Samm. You
had fun.
You popped my cherry.
You didn't make me cry.
Oh,
I thought I was gonna cry on here. I'm like, oh shoot, I don't need some tissue. I have fun. Like, this is healing. I don't know what it's healing, but it's healing. It feels good. So I feel like that's healing.
No, definitely. And I love that people get to see like we're out here doing some things, and we're confident, and we're cute, and we like ourselves.
We hella confident.
Yes.
I'm more confident than a lot of mofos.
Girl, let them know.
They know. Nah.
Confident looking raggedy in sweats, like whatever. I ain't got to put on a full face.
I got to do all that. What you doing all that for, girl? Nah.
And if you like, if that's your thing, that's your thing. Like, I don't.
Too much woman for this world. They're not ready. They ain't ready. They ain't never been ready. They gonna get ready. They gonna learn today. Oh my gosh, why I say that? It's stuck in my head.
You so silly. Well, thank you. I've appreciated you, and I know you tried to ignore it, but you popped my cherry. Beatrice and Deidre popped my cherry with my first podcast.
Girl, Don't you ever be, you know what though? I will tell you, before I perform, I am a nervous wreck.
Mm-hmm.
Before Fresh Fridays, I'm a nervous wreck. I start breathing funny. I start sweating a little bit. My palm, I'm like, what's happening? What's happening? And then as soon as you on, it's like, what the heck? You have these mini little panic attacks, but you're good. You're good. Because I'm like, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you?
Because it's new and I want to be good. And one of the things I'm in this course, it's called Course from Scratch by this woman named Danielle Leslie. And the thing that actually helped me, because I was like, I'm not ready for today, but marketing was already out there. Like we already set it up, like, let's just go. And what she says is done is better than perfect. And I just had to like keep reminding myself, like, there are ways that I would have liked to show up like perfect today, but that would have meant that it wouldn't be today. And I would keep putting it off, chasing that idea. And so let me go and be my authentic self and
I love it.
rock.
This is powerful. Let's get you some more people. Let's get this thing popping.
Yes. Well, thank you, my love. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
you always. I need to do my background. Like your background game is like shitting on mine. So
my inspiration. I have to record in this room, so I'm like, I need to be inspired.
What you drawing from? Yep. Beyonce's your favorite. What is your favorite Beyonce song?
Deja Vu.
Why?
I don't know. I think that was the first song where she did like the real live band instruments, and her voice was hecka powerful at the same. It wasn't like a club song, but it was still slap at the same time. And it was that bass. I don't know. I get excited every time I hear it. Deja Vu, obviously Dangerously in Love. But Deja Vu will forever be like one of my favorites. Smash Into You. The stuff that people probably don't care for.
I really have an appreciation. I wasn't a Beyonce fan for like ever.
Everybody. It's everybody.
But I have a strong appreciation for like grown woman Beyonce. Really, what that album when she broke away from her father, I love. Like, it's interesting. People will talk about her woman stuff, but I'm like, she has an all female band, and she was doing that shit before like anybody was doing that. That was not the lick.
Say it again. Say it again.
But yeah, just watching her like really, and Beyonce said one time, she was like, as a woman, it takes a long time to like sit to develop voice, to be big. And it's kind of what you were saying when you were like 18 to 22, right? Like, even though you had a strong personality and you were confident and could speak, but it takes a while for us to be able to say, like, actually, how you're doing this, or this doesn't feel good to me, right? And to feel like there's space to be able to say that, or it's right for us to say it. And yeah, like I think it just takes a while. And when I heard her say that, and then the band and like and then watching like what was that, the Partition, I was like, oh, okay, I'm messing with Beyonce. Come on, grown woman Beyonce.
We are now seeing the I don't give a Beyonce now. You gonna like it or I don't really care.
Because that's what happens when you're 30. In your 30s, you start to, and I can tell you at 45, it's even there's even less fucks to give. And I imagine as we move on, it's even less.
So. I love it. It feels great. It feels great. I love it.
I appreciate you, my dear. Thank you so much. This has been amazing. I'm gonna have to bring you back once I get into a solid groove, like maybe for my anniversary.
For sure.
All right.
Let's go. What's today? This the first one, October 8th?
8th, yep. 2020, yep.
Hey, 2020, even though it's a shitty ass year, this is the year.
Yep.
That's why I keep trying to tell people.
It is.
Make this the year.
My homegirl was telling me, she was like, Mars is actually in Aries. And so Aries is ruled by Mars, right? And Mars is the planet of action. And Mars is in Aries right now. So she was like, this half of the year, the second half of the year, we really can create whatever we want. Like, whatever.
Let's go.
You know?
Let's do it. I'm ready.
I think the last thing I'm going to say to the people out there as we close out is when you look around you, like the people you're around reflect you, right? And so you're in, like, I'm in conversation with you and you're fly and fabulous. I have to be. It's not possible for you to be this and be in my community and me not be, right? And so I want people to like look at who they're around, who's reflecting them. If you don't like it, shift it, right?
Shift it.
But also, if you have heavyweights and you're doubting yourself, if you're in the company of heavyweights, that means that that same energy that is in them and that you see that you're in awe of, you possess too. And to be great today, let's decide to be great.
Just be too much in the world.
Too much. I'm too much for
so
most people.
I loved it. Yeah.
I love it too. I love you, Sam.
I love you, girl.
Thank you, my dear.
Okay, I don't know what I'm doing now. You got it.